This is Dr. Zishan, founder of Everest Executive Education and Everest Startup School. I'm going to be sharing some very valuable insight from Dr. Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan on their podcast like last month. And they're talking about, are transgender men and women allowed to fight in the regular combat sports? Now, honestly, I'd like to have your feedback on this because I haven't made up my mind on this. And these people might have some compelling arguments. Thank you so much. With that, I'm going to go back to the video.
Yeah, well, the competition amongst men is fine. Yeah. Competition with men against women is often thought of as cruel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, yes, well, and there's a certain amount of reason for that as well, because obviously physical competition it's easy for that to border on cruel.
This is why we were talking before the show that instead of calling people men and women when referring to because there's this very disturbing, in my opinion, trend of transgender women entering into these competitions now with women who are biologically female and dominating them. Yeah. And that instead of calling people men and women, let's dispense with that.
Yeah, you can be a man or a woman.
Just say it is.
Yeah, you can be a man or a woman. That's your choice, and you can change it whenever you want. So you're a man or a woman, and that's your choice. But we're going to have a new rule, which is that if you have an XY chromosome, so you're an XY person or an XX person, then if you're an XY person, you don't get to engage in physical combat with an XY person.
Yes.
Men or
with
women.
An XX person.
Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah. How would that be?
If you're XY, you can't engage in physical combat with XX.
That's right. XYs cannot hit XXs. How's that? And maybe they can't run in running contests against them, and maybe they can't play tennis against them. Not within, and maybe that's just reasonable. Right?
It is reasonable.
Yes, it is certainly reasonable.
It is reasonable, but if you talk about that, especially someone like you, you were against this bill that was going to enforce these pronouns and the compelling the use of these pronouns, that you're thought to be a transphobic person because you feel like there maybe should be some rational discussion about the physical limitations of certain body structures, because that's what it is. If you're talking about my field of business, you're talking about combat sports.
Right.
I've been involved in combat sports my whole life, and there is a difference. And it's not to say that females aren't competent. And I mean, I had Miriam Nakamoto on yesterday. She's a good friend of mine. She's an 8-time world Muay Thai champion. I mean, she's a monster. But she doesn't fight against men, and she shouldn't fight against men, although she probably could beat a bunch of them.
Right.
It's not. She shouldn't have to, and she's
a tough woman can beat a variety of men.
Oh, yes.
But a really tough man can beat all women.
Yes.
Right. So that's the problem.
That's the reality.
Yes, that is definitely the reality.
You know, and people don't like to hear these things, and they don't. They want to pretend that you can even out the playing field with hormones. No, you can even it a little. There's certain things, like I've always said, if you gave Brock Lesnar a sex change and put him in a dress, he's going to run through every woman that's ever lived in the history of women. There's not a single woman that's going to be able to deal with that bone structure and that mind that guy has had with testosterone pumping through it for 39 years. It's
just preposterous that we even have to have a discussion. It's so absolutely ridiculous.
It's the one thing that I was attacked on more than anything in my entire life, is saying that I think it's ridiculous to have a trans woman compete against women in mixed martial arts. I was like, you want to have them do it in chess? You want to have them do it in something that's non-physical? Sure. You want them to be a woman? Yes, okay. You want them to be recognized as a woman? You sure. But as soon as you're compelling people, like here's one that's going up lately. If you don't want to date a trans woman, then you're some sort of a bigot. That if you're a man, even if you want a family.
You know, you remember in Brave New World, in Huxley's book, it was considered immoral to reject anyone's sexual advances because it was prejudicial.
Oh, yes.
And the thing is, it is prejudicial.
So with that, I'm going to leave it up for you guys to decide, is Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan right? Thank you so much. Let me know in the comments below. Personally, I haven't decided on this issue. Take care. I'm praying for you guys. I hope you have a great day and good things happen to you. Goodbye.